Have you ever sorted a column in Power Query only to realize the results make absolutely no sense from a business perspective? Now, for example, let's say you work for a customer support department and your ticket statuses are shown right here in this order. Now, if we sort these alphabetically, these over here on the left, if we sort these alphabetically, this is how the sort order would come in. Now, you would not want to look at closed tickets first, then escalated, then in progress. Now, let's say you wanted to sort this same list in descending order. Again, it doesn't make sense to look at waiting for customer tickets first, and then resolved, and then pending vendor, and so on. So if technically that would be correct if you wanted to sort ascending or descending. However, from a business perspective, it could be completely wrong. And management wants the most urgent tickets first, which in this case would be escalated at the top and completed tickets at the bottom, as you can see here on the left. So in today's tutorial, I'll show you how to create a dynamic custom sort order in Power Query that allows business users to control the sort order directly from an Excel table like what you're going to see here without ever modifying your Power Query M code. And so by the end of this video, you'll learn how to create a custom sort table, how to convert a table to a dynamic list in Power Query. We're going to use the List.PositionOf function and see how that works. And then how to build a custom sort that updates automatically when the business changes priorities. So let's jump in. So here I'm going to show you our tickets table, which is right here. Okay, and notice the status column right here. Notice all the statuses that we have here. So now let's pretend we're creating a weekly report for the Vice President of Customer Support. Now the VP doesn't care about alphabetical order. The VP wants tickets displayed according to operational importance. And that's where the status order table comes in right here. This is what we want to sort by. So this is a very common business requirement. So our first step is let's add both tables into Power Query, and then and then we'll go from there. So let's add this to Power Query. We're going to go to Data, from Table or Range. Actually, let's name these tables first, so we don't have to change it in Power Query. So let's just do a Control T, and then my table has headers, okay. And then we're gonna call this status tickets. Let's go up to Table Design. And let's do the same thing for status sort order. So we're going to do a Control T. My table has headers. Click OK. Let's call the status sort order. Okay, now let's go back here and let's go ahead and add this to Power Query. Okay, now this table is added into Power Query. Let's close and load, and let's load it as a connection only. And we're going to do the same thing for this other table. Let's do here. Let's do data from table or range. Okay, now we got these both tables in here. Let's close and load, and let's get that into a connection only. And then we'll go back into Power Query. We could double click on any one of these queries on the right. So at this point, let's go to the status sort order query. And the goal is to convert this table. You can tell that it's the table by this little icon over here on the left. It's a table icon. And the goal is to convert this table into a Power Query list. And why do we have to do that? Because you'll see in a second, we're going to be using List.PositionOf function, and it can only search inside of a list. So let's create a blank query, and we're going to convert the status sort order table, which is this, into a list. So we're going to go up to Home, and then New Source, Other Sources, Blank Query, and then let's just call this Status Sort Order List. And let's go, we got this highlighted, and let's go up to the Advanced Editor. And I'm going to paste in some code here. Okay, before we execute this, let's see what this is. So what this is it's taking a status order query, which is over here, which had returned, what we imported from our Excel table. It was our status order table, and we're assigning it to source variable. And then from this point, we're taking the source, that table basically, and we're asking it to retrieve the status column. There's only one column in that table. And what this does, Power Query, when you do something like this, it converts it into a list. So I'm just returning that into this little variable here, and then the end statement will return this. So if I click on done, you'll see that it turns it into a list. So let's click on here. This was the table. You can see the table icon here. And now this is returned as a list, and it's got positional numbers here. And you'll see how we use these numbers in a little bit. But as you can see over here on the left, you can see now this icon here is a list icon. So we know that this is a list now. So let's now go on to the next step. Okay, now that we've built the status sort order list query, which is what you see right here, let's look at the code that's doing all the work where we sort this table, okay, this table based upon the order that is in this list right over here. So let's create a new query, a blank query, home, new source, other sources, blank query. And we're just going to call this sorted rows. Then let's go up to the advanced editor up here on the left, and let's paste in some code here. Okay, at first glance, this looks complicated, but once we break it down, it's actually doing something very simple. Now think of Power Query as asking one question over and over. Where does this status appear in my custom sort list? Okay. Now remember what I said before, the status order list shows the list of statuses, and next to it, it had like an index number, okay? So let's start from the inside and work our way out. Earlier, we created a list that looks like uh, uh, the list that we showed over here. So let's go over here. Okay, we created this list. Now, this list represents the exact order the business wants it in. Notice that this is not alphabetical. This is the company's definition of importance. Now let's focus on this part, which is List.PositionOf, and look at these positions, okay? And we're going to utilize these numbers. They're not the exact numbers because it's going to be starting from 0, because Power Query looks at these as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the position. So let's go back to this query, Advanced Editor. Okay. Now, for example, let's close out of here. Let me look at here. I didn't save it, so let's go back up here. Okay. So basically what this query is doing, let's look at this code right here, List.PositionOf. Now, for example, if the current row in this table right here says it contains escalated, Power Query then searches this list over here, okay? And if it finds escalated at position 0, remember that escalated was the first position, this function then will return 0, okay? Now suppose the row contains resolved. In other words, it's going through, iterating through each row in this table, and the row contains resolve. Power Query then again searches this list, and it finds resolved in position 4. Then this function then returns 4. So let's look over here. So again, List.PositionOf. So it's asking for a list. This is the list, which is right here. And then the status, what is the status? The status column comes from this table right here, okay? So whatever row that we're on in this table, okay, it looks at the status column and looks for the value. Then List.PositionOf then looks for that value, okay, that status column returns, and it looks for it in this list. And what position does it find it in? Okay, whatever it is, it returns that number in for this each part here, right here. Okay, so so again, status represents the value of the current row in our status tickets query or table, and every row gets its own ranking number. Now, understanding the each keyword here, again, it repeats this logic right here for every row in the status tickets table. Without each, Power Query wouldn't know to evaluate every ticket individually. So Power Query goes row by row. It checks the status, okay? It defines the position in this list over here and returns a ranking number. And over until every row has been evaluated in the status tickets table. Now let's look at the outer portion, table.sort. The first argument here is the table we want to sort, which is this table over here, which is the main table that came from Excel that it wasn't sorted at that particular time. The second argument here, okay, this is the table, is the sorting logic, which we just discussed. So instead of sorting alphabetically, we're telling Power Query sort the rows according to the position of each status in this custom list, which is status order list. Okay. And now the real magic. The most important, powerful part of this solution is that the sort order isn't sorted in the code. It's stored in the status order table, which is over here. Okay. Now, if management then decides tomorrow that pending vendor should come before waiting for customer status, they simply update the table and refresh, and you'll see an example once we get back, load this back into Power Query. So the code never changes. That's why this approach is scalable, maintainable, and commonly used in enterprise reporting solutions. So let's go ahead and click on done, and you're going to see now, remember, it took this table here, which was unsorted over here, status column, and that simple code within this query now sorted this table according to the order that's in this list over here. So you can see escalated as first, in progress, waiting for customer, and so far. And that's what you see here, escalated first, in progress, and waiting for customer. Now, let's go back into Excel, and let's do a refresh. So let's change the order in the table. So let's go to close and load, and we're just going to close and load this last query as a table. Give it a second to load. So again, you see the status order in the order according to the status order list, which is over here. Now, let's say management wants to change this order up. So all we have to do then is go to this table, and let's move this to the top, let's say. And now waiting for customer is now the top priority. Now this doesn't make sense, but I'm just showing you exactly what's happening here. So now we change the order in this table. Let's go back to this sorted query. Okay. Now watch what happens to the order of the status column. Let's right click and hit refresh. Goes back into Power Query, executes the code, and then it will change the order here. So let's hit refresh again. And see now how the sort order has changed. All we did was go back to this Excel table, rearrange this order, okay, then came back here and did a refresh, and now it's in the order according to what's in this table. So let's go back here. This is the query, our final query. And remember, no code changes were made, no advanced editor, no M code modifications. The business changed the order, and Power Query automatically followed it. This is exactly how enterprise solutions should be designed. By storing the order in an Excel table, we've created a self-service solution. The business controls the rules, and Power Query just simply follows them. So let's recap. Today we learned why alphabetical sorting often fails in business reporting. We learned how to create a custom sort order table, how to convert that table into a dynamic list, because the List.PositionOf function has to read from a list and it generates its ranking, and how to sort using those rankings, and then how to build a solution that automatically adapts when business priorities changes. So if you found this useful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for stopping by. You have a great day.